As a writer or as a creative person in whatever medium you work with, do you know this feeling of urgency, scarcity, of feeling like there are too many ideas and you need to capture them all and there's not enough time to do all the things that you need to do to create all the work that you want to create? This was one of the most relatable parts from Hamilton, the line, "Why do you write like you're running out of time?" That's something that I've certainly felt a lot in the past, and it's a path that I can find myself falling down now if I'm not careful. So we're going to talk about that today, about this idea of writing like you're running out of time, or you can fill in pretty much any other verb instead of writing. For me, what this has looked like in the past is writing with such a focus on the end, on creating the finished product, that it's almost like sometimes the daily writing task can feel like a chore, like a slog, because you're just trying to get to the end. And I will say I'm happy I haven't lost myself too much in that in any book that I've published thus far. But what I was trying to remember the other day is that quite early on in my experience of writing fiction, I stumbled onto a lot of resources that were very helpful for indie authors, for making it a business and for making a living out of it. But I think it was before I'd even published my first novel that I realized that the people who are really successful in this field write a lot of books. And so I felt almost immediately like I was behind and I needed to have a lot of books, which is part of the reason why I probably started so many different series instead of just finishing one before moving on to the next one and then the next one. So it has looked in the past like being pretty rigid with myself in terms of how much output I expect from myself, and also just higher stress levels than I would like to have. You know, when you're approaching a deadline and you're feeling like, you know, getting snippy with people because you're like, this is so important and I have to do this and I have to do this. I'm already behind and I'm only publishing 4 books this year and it should be 5 or 6, and all of that sort of fun. The belief that is underneath all of this is that, you know, time is running out, the ideas are going to go away, you have to hurry and get this all done. For me, there's also something, I don't know if others can relate to this, I'm curious if you can. It's sort of like the fear of grief, and of how I know from experience that it just swallows me up and takes over my existence. And so there was almost this thing where I'm like, well, I'm okay right now. I haven't, you know, had the rug pulled out from under me by some terrible sort of grief. And so I better hurry up and do all of this while I can, while I'm safe to do it. And I know now that that is just simply not how life works, and it's not how, and then it's just my desire to control and predict things that are simply not controllable or predictable. So there is a helpful reframe here, and this relates a lot to some posts I've been seeing lately, and maybe I can share a link. There's one in particular I'm thinking about here that's like all these things in life that we are doing so quickly, whether it's putting the groceries away or wiping down a table, you know, very simple things, and we're doing them really, really quickly because we're always doing things really quickly. When I walk, I'm walking quickly, you know, when I'm folding clothes, I'm folding them quickly. And the reframe from the post I was seeing is that we're slowing down to show our nervous systems that it's safe, because boy, we kind of can act in everything like we're running away from a predator, but really you're just going for a walk, or you're, you know, emptying the dishwasher or whatever it is. And so of course I want that same thing to apply to writing. I don't want writing to be something that I feel some sort of underlying stress when I'm doing because I'm behind, I need to go faster, I need to do more. I think that's part of what's been helpful about my hour-a-day challenge that I'm documenting in YouTube Shorts and over on Instagram, is that now that I'm doing that, I can see for myself that things are happening every day, even on a day that is slow, even on a day that, you know, I don't go. In the past, I was writing 2,000 words a day. Now it's very rare that that happens. And there is a part of my brain that can go, oh, you failed, you haven't done it. And yet I see that even if I'm only writing 500 words a day, or even if I didn't write today, still the books are getting done. Still, I have reached the point that I'm at where I have 16 books published. Somehow that happened. The point isn't to rush through a part of the process that you don't like to get to the end. You know, it's like almost that idea is almost like I don't like writing, I just like having a book written, which I think is true for a lot of people. A lot of people would like to say they've written a book. Would they actually like to write the book? But for those of us who do get some enjoyment out of the process, even if we encounter resistance, which we know we will, if you've read The War of Art, you know resistance is a very real thing. Still, we have to remember that you can't fast forward to the good part, because this is the good part, you know, and once you get to the end of it, certainly if we're talking about a first book, once you get to the end and you decide to self-publish that first book, and then now you've taken your creation and you've turned it into a product, that changes the nature of your relationship to the work. No longer is it a thing that's just yours that you're creating. It's now a thing that's going out into the world, and other people are going to consume it and have feelings and opinions about it. So we want to remember how important that creative process is, and how much we enjoy it, and how much we can lose ourselves in it, and enjoy every day of it, whether it's a frustrating day or a really beautiful, wonderful day. The point is to enjoy the book being written, not just the book being finished. To enjoy the creative life being lived, not just the creative career being achieved. So my takeaways from this, my advice, if you will, is to practice trusting that the ideas will keep coming, that there isn't this urgency, that we can prioritize taking care of ourselves and resting over simply, you know, being machines and just go, go, go and creating at any cost. We can let the work move at its own pace, and that might be a different pace for literally every single piece of work that we create. For myself, it's meaning showing up for that hour each day without needing it to be some sort of earth-shaking, massive breakthrough of an hour. It might be a small, quiet hour, and that is how this is built. It's an invitation to you, if you want to do this similar hour a day sort of challenge. By all means, go ahead. Just don't think that it means it has to be full effort, you know, 110% every day sort of thing. So please remember to be kind to yourself, to treat rest as a normal part of your creative practice, an essential part of your creative practice, rather than something that you only get when you've burnt yourself out. And may your creativity be a restful, refreshing, restorative practice. I'll see you again soon.